Now, this pouch is pretty obviously designed for the good old smartphone. Hey, this was a surprise. About 2 weeks ago, I was hunting pheasants in South Dakota when a company called Chief Upland asked me if I would review an upland bird hunting vest for them. And since I was pheasant hunting, sure, why not? Well, here I am, deer hunting, and I'm wearing an upland hunting vest. Why would I do such a thing? Well, because the darn thing works for both. Now, to get started, I want to show a funky little thing that really seems to work pretty well, but this little silly thing right here, it's got a magnetic closure. It's just this tiny little pocket, and it's to hold the butt of the shotgun while you're bird hunting. But I've got a rifle. Well, it seems to work the same. So for instance, if you're in the woods blocking, or if you're in Wisconsin where you've got a bunch of guys hunting in the woods and you're wading along a trail, takes the weight off, you can hold that rifle in that little pocket. So not the biggest deal in the world, but it's kind of a neat little feature. So let me put the rifle away and we'll talk about the rest of the features. So as you can see, I've got the usual deer hunting paraphernalia on. The rifle, which is now missing in action, and of course my binocular. And then if I get rid of that, we can really get down to showing what this, what I'd call, I guess, an upland deer hunting vest pack. Well, let's just see what it can do. So you can see we've got a lot of straps on here, and he provided plenty of them because you can tighten it up as much as you want. If you don't want the straps, you can take them off. This whole system is modular. It's got what are called molle attachments all over it, so you can have pockets wherever you want them. You can move things around. So let's just go through some of it and see what we come up with. First of all, this funky little hose. Everybody pretty much recognizes the drinking hose. So you can have that on. I think that would be useful in early season out here in Idaho when we're bird hunting or even elk hunting. You really need a lot of hydration, so you've got a bladder area in the back. We'll show you that in a bit, and there's your drinking hose. If you don't like that, take it off. It's a modular system. Funky little pockets right up front here. Got a deer grunt call in there right now. I don't know, you can put just about anything you want in there, but I prefer my grunt call right here. Don't have to carry anything else. But I do like to have a predator call wherever I go. So if I see a coyote, I can invite him to dinner. So that's kind of a cool little double pocket feature up front, but feel free to stuff whatever you'd like in those if you get one of these Chief Upland packs. Now, here's something that confused me at first. We've got two straps around the middle. Why? Well, here is your basic strap to hold that waist belt on your hips, and that's a kind of the main feature of this pack, is that it puts the weight on your hips instead of on your shoulders. One of the biggest complaints for anybody who wears a pack without one, and that really seems to work. I was carrying 2 and 3 pheasants in here as I hunted, and I really noticed how it kept that weight off my shoulders. Love that. But why this extra one? Turns out this one tightens up the entire pouch back here. So if I loosen it up, I can loosen that pouch and stuff more in it. That's the game pouch. Well, I don't have pheasants in it when I'm deer hunting, but I can carry my rain jacket in there if I want. And then when the pouch starts to get baggy, I can cinch it up with this strap, pull it tight, and everything rides tight up against my back. You don't get that saggy pulling your back feeling. So it's kind of a nice feature, and it really worked well with the birds. And if you want to completely loosen it up, just take it off and open things up. Now the rest of this stuff, I'm probably going to have to take the pack off to show you. So let's do that. Get down on the ground and look at some of the other features. I use my raincoat for a knee pad here. So here is the pack off my back. In the back, I've got for my deer hunt a little seat pad in case I have to sit in the snow or the mud or the rain. So there's that big pouch area. You can see how voluminous that thing really is. I found I can keep in the corners right up front where a pocket would be on your jacket, my balaclava and an extra cap if I need to, whatever you want to have in there, you've got plenty of room for it. Now, If you've got extra clothes on and it really warms up and you need another place to put them, there's this little molle strap thing hanging off of this Hyperlon. Real tough, rugged little piece of stuff right there. And you can roll up your coat, your jacket, whatever you've got, put it in there and snap it on. So I would have to take this off. He's got these cool little Velcro keepers on here so that extra strap isn't hanging around. Just kind of nice if you like to be neat. So clip that baby on and then snug it down as tight as you need to, and you can carry extra stuff on there. Kind of a nice feature. And if you don't like it, take it off. Everything's modular here. So on the back, we have a long pouch that I currently keep my lunch in, an apple and a bagel and some bars. But that, of course, is a space you can use for pretty much anything you think you need to store in it. And it keeps most of the weight in the center of your back, and you can keep it pretty high if you'd like. That's always important, I think, for balance. But something else inside is this nice little sheer nylon stretch pouch, which I'm using as maps. And I keep my licenses or wallet in there, and it has a nice feature for your truck keys. They're not just in a pouch, but they're on a hanger as well. So the combination keeps them from rattling around and sliding around in there. So that all works pretty well. So zip all that up and you're protecting your valuables. But here you'll see another zipper. And this one opens the whole pouch. So now you've got complete access to the game bird pouch or your storage for your big items. But underneath you'll find this little space where I've got the water bag right now. But if I don't want to carry that water bag around, in the summer, I got to tell you, those things get really hot because they're right up against your back. And that water's not going to be all that tasty when it's so darn warm. So if you're kind of an old-fashioned guy like me, just use this attachment right here and carry your water in it. Nice little bag. You could use that for just about anything, but it's essentially sold for water. And of course, you can move it anywhere on all these molle attachments, and I'll show you in a bit how those work. So that's pretty much the back. I think these little hooks are designed for probably a specific water pouch that they sell. I just had an extra one lying around that I stuffed in here, but I'll bet they've got one that has some little notches you can hang that water on so it doesn't sag quite so much at the back. Just what I assume that is doing. So pretty nice little features on the back. Now let's move to the sides with these molles. Ooh, before we do that, I don't want to forget this. Kind of a nice touch. Anytime you're wearing a lot of pack against your back, of course, you're going to sweat. You've just got material stuck to your back. What they've put under this sheer nylon is vertical channels of some sort of a foam that takes the pressure. So it's a spongy foam, but it's got vertical channels, and as you walk and move, that I think is supposed to just let the air sort of circulate up through those grooves to help you dry out. I've noticed I didn't get all that wet bird hunting, but it wasn't all that warm out either. But you've got the advantage of the padding against your back, which really helps, but then those vertical grooves, kind of a nice little feature. And they're out here in the belt too. And while I'm on this belt, here's where you make an adjustment for size. When I first got this belt was down here. And the difference that it made in how this rode on my back was really significant. I didn't understand that you could take this thing out of these molle straps right here, pull it all the way through, and move it up or down to fit your torso size. Now that I've moved it up, the whole thing rides up higher. At first it was riding down on my butt, but if I pushed it up to cinch it around my waist and keep it off my butt, the shoulder straps wouldn't fit. Of course, they're adjustable, but you can see I've got them all the way down. I'm not exactly the Jolly Green Giant here. And if you are, you've got a lot of room to work. So you can move those straps up quite a ways. And while I'm talking about straps, note this. There is no padding in the strap where your gun will fit on your shoulder. There is padding here on top. Little bit of padding right where you're going to get it on your collarbone. So that's a nice feature. These straps are leather, and you can run your water hose through either one of them, or you can use them to hang things on if you'd like. So if you're left-handed, right-handed, it'll accommodate you either way. Got some extra little molle attachment points here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to use those for, but they're there. Right now there's a little D-ring attached to it if you want to hang something on there. I'm thinking maybe a game call or a GPS unit of a radio of some kind. Did you see that? It snowed. We had a little mechanical problem yesterday before we finished, and overnight it snowed. But let's get back to reviewing this pack. Now, here on the shoulder strap on this side, there's another one of those nice little sheer elastic pouches. Not exactly sure what I'm going to put in there. I'll play around with it, but right now, I thought that was a pretty handy spot to put my cartridges. So I've got a few extra rounds of ammunition in there. You're welcome to put whatever you'd like in that space. Now, on the belt itself, the modular construction allows you to put these different pockets anywhere you want, wherever they work for you, high, low, left and right, wherever it's comfortable. Now, when I first started using this, I thought, man, those are going to get in the way of walking, and I'll demonstrate some of that later when we're doing our shotgunning and bird version of this. But the reality was it really didn't. I thought it would, but pretty darn comfortable, especially when I'm carrying a gun at port arms for pheasants and such. But I did move them back a little bit, so you've got the option of doing that. Now, this pouch is pretty obviously designed for the good old smartphone. So put your smartphone in there, but it's got plenty of room. You could probably stuff 3 or 4 of them in there. So any other objects of that size you might want to put in. Out here, we've got another one of these elastic pouches, and I'm thinking would work well for a sending unit for a dog collar perhaps, but you've got some more molle attachments to put other things there, a little strap on top, so if something's protruding, it would help hold it in. Now this pocket is essentially a shell pocket, and you can see that right here, but this little shell loop tears off. I don't know if they have those for firearms cartridges, rifle center fires, but shot shells definitely do. There's a little pouch behind it, so you can stuff a few more in there, and there are actually loops in there for some more ammunition. Then you've got a zippered pocket, and it comes way down, so you've got really good access. You can see it's gusseted, and I am currently carrying a rangefinder. Pretty handy place for it. And I think it's useful because it has holes in the bottom for draining any water out. Now, it looks pretty waterproof, and it's advertised as waterproof with that flap over the top and the zipper. But just in case, you got the drainage holes. Now, notice this. Magnets close that. So it's pretty handy. You're not going to find a pocket open inadvertently and things spilling out very easily with that feature. Now, on the other side, more pockets. We've already talked about holding the butt of your gun in this little gun holder, which is pretty nifty. And this is another large pocket, as you can see, for shells. And again, you've got the Velcro, and I'm sure they'll sell some other things that you could attach to that. More magnets holding this. And this is my general purpose pocket that I'm holding a lot of my little gear in. So, what do I have in here? I've got my knife for doing my deer. I have some chapstick. I have my Bic lighter just in case I take up smoking. No, that's for lighting a fire. And if I really get in trouble and need a big spark for fire, I've got my lightning strike. This is really cool. Watch this. There's a lot of flame there, something like 4,000 degrees from that. And it directs it right at your tinder, which is in the cap. Some little blue material that burns for about a minute or two and will get your kindling dry. I've got a video on this lightning strike. You want to look that up and watch it. It really gives all the details. But I like to carry that with me because if I really get in trouble, that's going to do the job, especially if I use some of my emergency papers. And you can guess what else those are good for. I have a rapid rod in here, and that's just a little collapsible rod for pushing debris out of the barrel. If you get mud in your barrel, I always carry one of those. And then any kind of little medicines and stuff you like, I usually have some pain pills in there. But a good sized pouch. It has the shell loops in there for your shot shells, obviously. But boy, it seems to work pretty well for storing and keeping organized all these other little pieces of paraphernalia. And then again, the magnet will close that thing. Pretty nice. So that is about all I've been able to figure out for a deer hunting pack with this Chief Upland vest. But I think before we finish up here, we should really show you a little more about what it does as what it's meant to do, the Upland bird vest. And as I mentioned, I hunted in South Dakota for pheasants, but I can see where this would really be handy out here in Idaho, where we often go all day climbing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feet for rough grouse, blue grouse, quail, huns, and chuckers. Man, chucker hunting is really tough, and a pack like this can really work well. I would really double up on the water storage on something like that, and plenty of food. And then it's not unusual to come off the mountains with 16 birds in your pouch, because you've got a combination of all those quite often. So having all that weight on your hips instead of your shoulders can really pay off. And I'm going to look forward to using this vest on a chucker hunt here fairly soon. But for now, let's get it outfitted with the shotgun and see how it works. Some of you sharp-eyed riflemen are probably going to notice something a little bit unusual about the cartridges I pulled out of the vest right here. This is a 6.5 by 280 Ackley improved. How's that for a crazy combination? And this is a custom rifle built by Daryl Holland, and it's built on the model 700 Remington Action. And I'm sure you're curious about that, so we will in the future be doing a video on this rifle and this unusual 6.5 millimeter cartridge. Stay tuned. Well, here I am all outfitted for a bird hunt. And when I first got this vest, I did not have it set up for my torso length, and it did not fit well, and I was giving it a thumbs down. But I checked the website, and I called the developer, and this is a young man from Wisconsin. His name is Jake Lindeman, and I was really impressed. He's done a great job of developing this thing and really thinking it through, but he had to tell me what to look for. We were kind of in a rush, and he overnighted it to me in South Dakota, so it didn't have any instructions, and I just grabbed it and went out into the field and couldn't quite figure it out. But once he explained how you make all the adjustment, bingo, it all came together. So Jake, thumbs up, buddy. I also would like to recommend Jake because he's a one-man shop. I mean, this is a good all-American ingenuity and effort. An individual person able to start up a company and sell a product like this, I really like to get behind somebody like that. So here's a good reason to look into Jake and his product. I would never recommend you buy a product that isn't any good just because you like the guy who makes it, but you put the two together, I think you've got a winning combination. So check out Chief Upland. Now, back to this vest. For Upland, what I found works pretty darn well is this little pocket right here to put the toe of the shotgun in. And if you're waiting on stand in South Dakota at the end of a drive or something, look how easy that is. But even when I'm walking, I can carry the gun like this without having to wear both arms out. So, you know, it's a little touch, but it really makes a difference after a long day in the field. When you're putting on 8, 9 miles a day, which we do even on South Dakota pheasants, that can help quite a bit. Now, I think I would recommend he put a lengthener on that so it can hang a little deeper down. I'd like to have my shotgun about right there. That seems the most comfortable. So he might want to look into adding a drop strap on that. So the pockets now are pretty much figured out for my cartridges. And you can get quite a few in there. Before we're done here, I'm going to get a bunch of boxes and just see how many we can put in. You can use the loops inside or just let them ride loosely, which I usually do. So if you want to grab real quick, they're right there. A whole handful of them if you need them. And there's enough, of course, for both sides if you want to carry a lot of ammo. You've got the pouch back here. I would leave it zippered open and to get my quick access that way, or close it up if you're afraid of losing shells as you go, which should certainly happen. Now, as you can see, this gun is empty. I would not be doing any of this with a loaded gun. I have found that this works pretty well for my DT Systems sending unit for my dog. And I'd call her right now, except she's not wearing the collar. She's not even here. She's down at Standing Stone Kennels in Kansas getting the kind of training that I'm not capable of giving her. But when she comes back, we might get to use that again. She probably won't even need it. So here's how this vest functions with loading up pheasants. Let's say you've killed your bird, you admired him, he's a beautiful piece of work, you want to put him in the vest. Obviously, if your buddy is there, he stuffs them in for you, but if you're by yourself, you unbuckle this top tensioning buckle, and that helps open up these side pockets. But what I found for a pheasant to fit in there is really still a little bit tight. But if I just unsnap the belt itself, that really opens it up. And since I don't have a pheasant here in Idaho with a closed season, I went for a bag of sweet potatoes. Why? Because they were there on the steps. And that's about the size of a pheasant. So if you've got your bird and you loosen that vest up, you should be able to slide him in this way. It'd be a little easier with a pheasant because he's not in 3 or 4 pieces inside of a flimsy plastic bag. Shove him in the back like that. You get that weight well to the back, and then you hunch your shoulders to pick that pack up again, get it on your hips, and now is when this thing starts to make sense, because I can pull it in and it helps pull that weight in that bird up against my back so it doesn't have that flopping on your butt thing you get with so many vests. Cinch that down as tight as you need and you're ready to travel. There's an additional way to keep the weight high. You see all these little molle strap sort of holdings on the inside of the vest? And see this little black hook up here? Well, that is designed to lift up and hook on, and that helps keep the weight of that pack higher. There's one on each side, so pretty nice system all the way around. Now, I promised we were going to show how these molle attachments move around, so we'll go over to a trailer here where I can put all this stuff down. We'll do some of that, and then I want to find out just how many cartridges I can get in here, because there are times here in Idaho that I alluded to earlier where we'll go up all day, and we can hunt 4 or 5 different species, and the bag limits on those are like 8 huns, 8 chuckers, 10 quail, I think, 4 forest grouse, a couple of pheasants. I mean, you can kill a lot of birds if you're in the right place at the right time and shoot well. So let's go over to the trailer. We'll get some shells and we'll just see how many will fit in here. Now, here is how to adjust these modular pockets. So you can see there's a strap on the back with the snaps. So you take the snaps off. Probably going to be pretty obvious to a lot of you guys have done it before, but in case you haven't, pull those through and move them. You can move them lower, higher, whatever, but if you want a really firm connection, start high, and I'm going to leave them the same place I had them, and you could skip one if you wanted to be quick about it, or if you really want them to be secure, go through with the second one. Takes a little bit of time. At first it's a little frustrating, but once you get the hang of it, no big deal, and you probably won't move them but a couple of times until you figure out where they really work well for you. Now take this one clear down to its last hole, and it'll really be a snug fit. You won't get any kind of wobbling around or shaking of that product on there, especially when you get a lot of weight in it with shells in. So you can see it's going to be a snug fit right there by the time I snap it on, but that's what you want. I can find that snap. It's upside down on me. There we go. Snap that in and snap that one in, and there you go. So whatever device you want to move around, you just take them off and move it somewhere else. Pretty nice system. And I suspect with demand and creativity, they'll come up with other things to put on that whole system. All right, I grabbed 3 boxes here. Let me see if I can balance those on here without dropping them in the snow. Stay, boys. Didn't think this out very well. Let's take this off. I think it'll be easier. You can see we've got a lot of straps on here. You don't have to have that many. One would do the job on the vest right here to hold it against your chest. So what I like about these straps is, like, traditional strapped vests tend to slide off your shoulders because there's nothing holding them in. This is just an old backpacker's trick right here, so that's what those are for. All right, let's get this up where we can get at that pocket a little more easily without our sweet potatoes being in the way. Okay, This is our largest pocket, I think. Yeah, the gusseted pocket right here is the big one. So let's just, let's put in these. These are the same 5-shot. This is a good load for pheasants. By the way, opening a shotgun shell box just like that. Whack it so that the shells inside push the top off and you don't end up ripping your paper. An old timer showed me that one time, and now I guess I'm the old timer showing it. Okay, first box getting dumped in. There we are. Okay. All right, they're not quite up to the top of the gussets now, so if I pull that zipper up, I've got about that much more room for more shells. Watch the pop again. Pops that wall up. Look at that. Oh, come on. Trying to show off and can't pull it off. There it is, just that easily. So let's take 5 off the top. Dropped one in the snow. Oh, that's really showing off your talents, dude. Oh, I didn't run that zipper up the other side. Got to be smarter than the bag. 5 more. Yeah, easily. Now, if you want to squeeze a few more in there, I'm sure you can get another 5 in. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, 5. So that's just a little more than a box and a half. And there's room for more. Oh, dropped another one. Oh, man. Must be getting close to lunchtime. Yeah, I think I can get 2 boxes in there, guys. Oh, yeah. Even that one down in the snow comes up, it's going to have room to squeeze in. So that's a lot of ammo right there. What's that, 50 rounds already? If I ever find that one in the snow, we'll throw him into the heap, but might have to wait till spring to get that one. Ah, there it is. Woohoo! Might as well finish it off, huh? All right, so there's 2 boxes. 25 per box, there's 50 rounds. Now, even I could get a limit with that. And you still have some pockets here on the outside. You could stick some more in. So there's 3 more right there, 53. And we're not even at the other box yet. Oh, my goodness. Now, this guy is not quite as wide, but he is a lot snowier. There's 3 rounds already on the outside. I've already got 1, 2 on the inside. Oh, I could easily get a box in there. There it is. Pop goes the weasel. All right, let's see if I can drop them in without dropping them out in the snow. Oh, yeah, I should have brought another box. I could get another box in there pretty close, guys. So, yeah, we are looking at 106 rounds easily in those, more than you're going to ever need for a bird hunt. So don't worry about storage. You've got it. And you can always add more pockets if you want to. My God, I can't imagine you'd want to. That's a lot of weight. Well, that is about all I can tell you on this Chief Upland vest. I really think it's a great option. I've used a lot of vests and a lot of coats over the years, and I've come down to strap vest as my preference, because with a coat, if you'd have a game bag on the back of this coat right now, for instance, you're out hunting, you got hot, take your coat off, you no longer have a vest or a bag for your birds. So I gave that up years ago. I like the quick-on vest that you can take off and put back on just over your shirt or whatever else. It's way more versatile. This is the same way. It's just got incredible versatility, but you can carry a lot more weight, a lot more comfortably. So if you're a serious bird hunter that does a bit more than your average step outside the car and poke around for a few minutes, you might want to consider a vest like this. Yeah, pretty well designed. In fact, very well designed. And the more I examine it, the more I use it, the better I like it. Thumbs up. I highly recommend Chief Upland vest. I'm Ron Spomer. Thanks for watching, and remember, subscribe to this channel and you'll help us make more videos, and you can become a supporting member of Ron Spomer Outdoors on Patreon. So get the Patreon app, go to Ron Spomer Outdoors, become a supporting member, send in your suggestions for products and ballistics and guns and ammo and whatever you'd like us to review on this YouTube channel. And read our blogs on RonSpomerOutdoors.com website. And we really appreciate having your support. Meanwhile, hunt honest and shoot straight.